Let's talk about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Later on in this video, we will touch on what they did in free agency and the same with the NFL draft. But for the first half of this video, I really want to focus on Kyler Murray so far in his career because he's entering a very pivotal year with the Arizona Cardinals. He's entering year 7. He was selected with the first overall pick in the 2019 NFL draft. Many people saw Kyler Murray coming into the NFL and being dominant. When you look at him at the college level, he was phenomenal playing with Oklahoma. And the same at the high school level. But a lot of that has not transferred over to the NFL. Kyler Murray is a very talented quarterback, but the same problems that he ran into with Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim being the general manager, he's running into similar problems right now with Jonathan Gannon, and the same with Coach Drew as an offensive coordinator. When we go back many years ago, they have made moves to try to make Kyler Murray go out there and have a breakout season. You look at Steve Keim, even though he was not a good general manager on his way out, he traded for DeAndre Hopkins. They followed the mold of what many teams have done before in the past by going out there and getting a true number 1 wide receiver. The Dallas Cowboys, they made a trade to bring in Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott took a major step forward. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen takes a major step forward. Patrick Mahomes already had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill in place. He became one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he still is. Joe Burrow, he has Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins, a top quarterback in the NFL. So they're saying, we'll go out there and we'll bring in prime DeAndre Hopkins from the Houston Texans. It was a blockbuster trade. You traded David Johnson and a second-round pick. And Kyler Murray had some big-time moments with DeAndre Hopkins. I will always remember that Hail Mary play against the Buffalo Bills. And Kyler was having a breakout year that year with Cliff Kingsbury. They also made a trade to bring in Rodney Hudson. And they needed to bring in a consistent interior offensive lineman. More on this offensive line in the next couple of minutes. They made the NFL playoffs. And he's only done that once so far in his career, in his 6 years in Arizona. But in that playoff game, they got smoked by the Los Angeles Rams, and Kyler Murray looked terrible in that matchup. 19 of 34, 137 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Now let's pause here for a second. Even though Kyler had a terrible playoff game, DeAndre Hopkins dealing with a knee injury, he wasn't the healthiest with Arizona. He was also dealing with a suspension issue with Arizona. It's more to it than just that. Cliff Kingsbury should have never been a head coach with this organization. This is why you bring in veteran coaches around the NFL scene to come in and help develop young quarterbacks. I don't have a problem with Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive play caller. Even at Texas Tech, as a head coach, I'm always going to have problems with Cliff Kingsbury, especially with him being younger at that time. He was not ready to be an NFL head coach. A lot of the plays, he was basically saying, hey, Kyler, go out there and work things out. For the ones that don't know, Cliff Kingsbury always wanted to coach Kyler Murray at the college level. But Kyler Murray always had a different plan in mind. He went from Texas A&M. He went to OU to play underneath Lincoln Riley. Cliff Kingsbury would have good moments with the Cardinals, but it wasn't consistent enough. They'll start off red hot, and as the season progresses, they'll fizzle out. Kyler Murray, first half of the season, he'll look like a superstar quarterback. Back half of the season, he'll look like a middle-of-the-road quarterback. And those are the same problems that he's running into right now with Jonathan Gannon, and the same with Coach Drew. I wish they would have brought in a proven head coach and a proven offensive mind, but they went with Cliff Kingsbury. Hopefully, Kyler can take that step forward with Jonathan Gannon and with Coach Drew. Because a lot of the nasty things and a lot of the bad things that we saw in film a couple of years ago, he's running into yet again with this organization. Now, I know when he signed that contract for 5 years, $230 million, and that clause, it came out by Cliff Kingsbury and the general manager. I don't even know why you put that clause out to the national media. It was a situation to where they were basically saying Kyler Murray, he didn't study enough film. And you get all the memes of people saying that he plays a lot of Call of Duty. He doesn't care about the game. He does work hard. I've seen him go out there and I've seen him have plays to where he can't see over the line of scrimmage, but he throws the accuracy, he throws the anticipation. Look at what he did against the Los Angeles Rams in game number 1, just throwing dimes over and over again. In the first half against the Buffalo Bills, the anticipation is just there. It's just not consistent enough. But Kyler Murray has a talent to be in the same conversation with quarterbacks within the top 10, within the top 5, because of his ability to make plays off script over and over again. But sometimes he needs to play on schedule to be more consistent. And you look at him so far with Jonathan Gannon, you look at him so far with Coach Drew. This previous year, this team was good enough to make the NFL playoffs. They had the lead in their division, but they let it go to the wayside. They went on a 3-game losing streak. And this is why I mean that Kyler Murray, first half of the season, he may be red hot. Second half of the season, he fizzles out. This happened with Cliff Kingsbury, but this is also happening with this new coaching staff. 13 passing touchdowns or 3 interceptions from this previous year in the first half of the season. The back half of the season, the last 8 games, 10 passing touchdowns to 8 interceptions. That is not good enough for a franchise quarterback. You're asked to go out there and propel your organization forward, and he hasn't done it. And you look at the wide receiving core that he has. Marvin Harrison Jr., he did not have a great rookie season, but at the same time, you go back, he was wide open a lot last year, especially against the Los Angeles Rams in the second matchup. Against the Buffalo Bills in week 1, they had that matchup won. Against the Seattle Seahawks, not once but twice. Those are 3 football games in particular to where the Arizona Cardinals lost because of Kyler Murray. You win those football games, you make the NFL playoffs. And you have to hold Kyler Murray's feet to the fire here because he is paid as a top quarterback in football. And he has to perform like a top quarterback on a week-to-week basis. But you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., 885 receiving yards, 8 receiving touchdowns, 14 yards a catch. He is going to be a superstar wide receiver. They just have to do a better job of game planning around him and getting him the football on a consistent basis. You look at Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson is not a superstar wide receiver, but he's solid. 548 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. He averaged 12 yards a catch. Greg Dortch, he's a solid number 3 wide receiver. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what he is. And that's okay. Trey McBride is a top receiving tight end. This man just had 1,146 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, averaged 10 yards a catch. So Kyler Murray has talent at the skill position around him. You look at the run game. With Trey Benson, I think that he's going to be a very good running back in the foreseeable future. But you look at James Conner, since they made him the starting running back when he came over from the Steelers, he has been phenomenal as a power back. One of the most underrated running backs in all of football. 1,094 rushing yards last year. That was 11th most in football. 8 rushing touchdowns. He averaged 4.6 yards a carry. And we've seen him in the past average 5 yards a carry. He's a very good power back. And Kyler Murray with his legs, he can go out there. He can have 500 to 700 rushing yards in the year. But when I look at Kyler, he's never had over 30 passing touchdowns in a season. He's never thrown for over 4,000 passing yards in the season either. It's time for him to step up with Arizona. I like Jonathan Gannon as a head coach. As Coach Drew as an offensive coordinator, I'll admit it, he's not a good OC. But it was a lot of times last year to where players are open downfield, and Kyler, he just didn't see him, or he just misread the coverage, especially against the blitz, against the Minnesota Vikings. Yet another game that was winnable. Kyler Murray goes out there, he's throwing terrible interceptions against the blitz. He's throwing terrible interceptions against cover 3. The same problems that he ran into in year 2 with Arizona. He hasn't grown as a player, and they need him to take that step forward. This is a brand new regime. Jonathan Gannon, he didn't scout him out. He didn't draft him. And the same with this general manager. That was a previous regime. And he does have a couple years left on his contract. If they can't go out there and make the NFL playoffs with this brand new defense that they're bringing in this year, and with these brand new offensive adjustments, it'll be time to move on from Kyler Murray. It's not all on Kyler, but when you're getting paid $230 million, they need you to step up in crucial moments late in the season. Against teams like the Rams, against teams like the San Francisco 49ers. And I know it's one of the toughest divisions in football since he's been drafted. But at the same time, you're a former first overall pick, and I hold Trevor Lawrence to the same standard. I'm not asking for Kyler Murray to go out there and have 50 passing touchdowns in a year and to be an MVP. But can you be good enough to get this team to the NFL playoffs? Can you be good enough to get this team to winning a playoff game in your career? He is too talented to be at this point of his career so far. Far as Coach Drew, when I say that he's not a good offensive coordinator, a lot of the concepts early on just don't make any sense. It's a lot of conservative plays. He's making Kyler Murray be this pocket passer at times. Now, as the season weighed on and when Kyler Murray was regressing as a passer in certain decision making, certain decisions weren't being made out in the best way, that's when he'll go out there and he'll find a way to make rushing lanes for him. He'll go out there and run read option plays for him and James Conner. I know that Kyler Murray is not the biggest quarterback, but his legs, that's what makes him special. Run more play action bootlegs. Get him on the run. Get him running downhill. Just do some quarterback keepers. Look at what Jaden Daniels was able to do this year with the Washington Commanders. Have Kyler Murray use his legs. Do more RPO plays. I look at Drew Petzing most weeks when he goes out there. It's a bunch of just basic play calls. You rarely run RPOs. And Kyler Murray can excel in that system and run more shotgun. I know they want Kyler Murray to be this quarterback under center. Go out there and run shotgun as well. Open up this offense to see if you can get the most out of Kyler Murray. Because something's going to have to change here. Your quarterback is underperforming in big time moments and your offensive play caller is not helping him out either. Two things can be true. But this offense, they have to be better than they were last year, especially in the back half of the season. They just need to be more consistent, and it starts with Kyler Murray. And one more thing to help out Kyler Murray here, if you are a Kyler Murray fan, he has been beat up a lot. He has been the sixth most sacked quarterback since the 2019 season. And it's not because he's holding on to the football for too long. Now, a lot of this is because Kyler Murray, he'll rush himself into sacks. When you see pressure coming off the left side, you may run to the right. You just range yourself back into more pressure. Kyler Murray also has to realize, I could throw the football away here. He wants to go out there and play hero ball, similar to what he did at the high school level and at the college level. Just throw the football away. Live to see another down. If it's first down, you have second and third down. Live with it. Just throw the football away instead of forcing tight throws over and over again. That is what got him in trouble against the Seahawks. That is what got him in trouble against the Minnesota Vikings. Him just going out there and being frustrated because he wants the big play. It's okay to go out there and smooth things down and just live to see another drive. You can't put your team in a compromised situation over and over again. That is what made Peyton Manning so great. The same with Tom Brady and the same with Patrick Mahomes. They understood situation. My defense is beat up. We can live to see another down. We have a lead at halftime. Why go out there and cost the team a possession? He needs to be smarter with the football. And the interior of this offensive line has been piss poor since he's been drafted. That's where the majority of the pressure is coming from. When you have an undersized quarterback, you really want to build this offensive line from the inside out. That's the way to build your offensive line. That's what the New Orleans Saints did with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. They built it from the inside out. Because now your undersized quarterback can step up into his throws over and over again. You look at Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers. They already selected the tackle in the first round with Icky, but they built that offensive line from the inside out. I look at the Cardinals right now. Paris Johnson Jr., he is phenomenal. One of the best tackles in the game. Jonah Williams is a solid right tackle. Very good player. By looking at the interior of this offensive line, do we really believe in Evan Brown? The same with Isaiah Adams at the right guard position? Can they come in and can they give Kyler Murray consistent pass protection up front? He can't step up into his throws on a consistent rate. And that is what happened against the Seattle Seahawks. Leonard Williams was constantly going out there and kicking them around over and over again. Even back to that playoff game against the Los Angeles Rams, Aaron Donald is constantly in his face over and over again. And you can shift protection all you want. When you're going against great players like that, your player's going to have to step up. You can run double team concepts. When they're running different twists and different stunts, you're in trouble. And this offensive line in the interior has had constant miscommunication over the last 4 years. They need to be better up front. So it's not all on Kyler Murray's shoulders. He hasn't been placed into a great situation, but you expect more out of him because he was a first overall pick and because the talent that he does have with a rocket arm, with the athletic ability to make plays outside the pocket. We've seen him go out there and have 4 passing touchdowns in a game to 0 interceptions. But we also seen him go out there and have 1 passing touchdown to 3 interceptions in a matchup. And the defense last year was not the healthiest. Their defense has dealt with problems since Jonathan Gannon has become the head coach, but he was brought in to help out this defense. He was a great defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though they lost against the Kansas City Chiefs a few years back in the Super Bowl, his defense was still amazing against the run, against the pass. And now he's bringing in defensive names that he can help grow and develop with this roster. In the first round, you selected Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, 6.5 sacks, 305 pounds, 6'3". He's going to come in and be a great defensive tackle, stopping the run, getting to the quarterback on a consistent basis. And that's the one thing the Arizona Cardinals have missed over the last 5 years. Is a consistent edge rusher. I know that they were desperate for an edge rusher many years ago. They brought in J.J. Watt, and J.J. Watt had a very good last season with Arizona. But he was just a Band-Aid guy at that time. But Walter Nolan comes in. He solves a huge need in the interior of this defense. As far as the edge rushing position, you go out there, you bring in Josh Sweat, who Jonathan Gannon helped go out there and develop and help coach him up within his last year with Philadelphia. He had 8 sacks last year with Philly. He comes over. He's your best edge rusher right now on paper. And you need edge rushers in this division with Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. The same with Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. You look at the Seattle Seahawks with Sam Darnold. They have weapons on the outside as well with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cooper Kupp. The 49ers, they have Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall, who's entering year number 2. George Kittle at the tight end position. Los Angeles Rams, having Puka Nacua, having Devontae Adams, having Sean McVay as an amazing head coach. You need to put pressure on those quarterbacks to have them go away from their constant scheme and to make more adjustments. And Jonathan Gannon had to prove that he is a true defensive mastermind as a head coach. Because when you're a head coach, you control everything. Drew is his guy at the offensive coordinator position, and this is his defense. They need to be better off, especially with the moves that they've made in the offseason. You have Dalvin Tomlinson, who is also a solid defensive tackle that can go out there and stop the run. He's more so of a run stopper. He's not going to get to the passer on a consistent basis, and that's okay. But if you can eat up double teams, you can free up space for someone like Walter Nolan. Calais Campbell, he comes back over with the Arizona Cardinals, may be his last season. He is 38 years old, but he's going to be a very good rotational defensive tackle / defensive edge rusher. 5 sacks last year with the Dolphins, 1 forced fumble. And he can be crucial in goal line settings. You want to run a big package to stop the run, he can come in, he can do that for you. And you have Xavier Collins, who hasn't lived up to the hype of being a first-round pick, but he's solid. 5 sacks last year, 2 forced fumbles. Baron Browning, you made a trade to bring him in from the Denver Broncos. He's been a solid player. I expect for him to be better. The secondary here, you selected Will Johnson in the 2nd round. Will Johnson was a phenomenal player at Michigan. If it wasn't for the injuries in his last year with Michigan, he would have been a first-round pick. You're getting potentially a number 1 cornerback in the 2nd round. And the one thing with Jonathan Gannon, he loves his corners. Look at what he did with James Bradbury and Darius Slay his last year with Philly once again. Coached them up to the next level. They play a lot of zone coverage. And Garrett Williams, he's a solid cornerback in the nickel position. Max Melton, we'll see what he can do long term. He's a very good rotational cornerback. And you still have Budda Baker. Budda Baker is a very productive safety in terms of being an in-box safety. 95 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 5 pass deflections. He's not going to go out there and be a safety that's going to roam around and have up to 5 to 8 interceptions in the season. But as being just a very good tackler and blowing things up, coming off the edge, that's what you want from him. And he can guard tight ends in short situations. But a lot of the success for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward comes down to Kyler Murray. Can he be healthy enough? And can he be consistent enough to get this team over the top? But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Arizona Cardinals and how do you feel about Kyler Murray so far in his career with this organization? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.